The Bible says that Satan can appear as an angel of light. Indeed, many follow demons when they think they're following God. History will climax in a great struggle of good and evil. The outcome is foreordained. Jesus will return and vanquish Satan, his demons, and all who followed them into believing what the Bible calls the lie, a lie promoted by media luminaries such as Oprah Winfrey. From the Moody Church in Chicago, this is Running to Win with Dr. Erwin Lutzer, whose clear teaching helps us make it across the finish line. Today, join us for a one-on-one time with Erwin Lutzer as we sum up the threat posed by what is called the new spirituality. More than 100 million Americans claim no allegiance to a church, synagogue, or temple. Many, perhaps the majority, are pursuing some form of what we'll call spirituality, hoping to connect with something greater than themselves. They're looking for meaning, seeking some higher purpose to fill their inner emptiness and persistent longings for peace. And they're being told they can do this without believing doctrines, without acknowledging their sins, and without having to commit to believing anything specific. So begins Dr. Erwin Lutzer's new book on Oprah, miracles, and the new earth. We're happy to have Erwin Lutzer in the studio with us today. And Pastor, I know you'll agree that Oprah Winfrey is a powerful proponent of the new spirituality. She has numerous guests on her show talk about the new earth classes she and Eckhart Tolle lead on the Internet. Here's a sample from one of Oprah's programs.
One of the most asked questions about a new earth is, will it interfere with my religious beliefs? What do you say to that?
Well, I don't see why it would. It's not a belief system. It's not another belief system that we have to lay on top of anything we believe in. It's actually, it's almost like saying, will putting a spoonful of honey in my tea wreck the tea? It's really a sweetener. If you are a religious person and you practice like what Jim Carrey was talking about previously, being fully present and alive in the moment, and let's say your moment is church, or the mosque or temple, wow, that's just going to make it even better.
So it's the honey in the tea.
It's the honey in the tea. Sugar in the coffee.
Sugar in the coffee.
Pastor Lutzer, how do you react to what you've just heard?
Well, very interesting and, of course, very compelling to a lot of people. But just think of what it is that we've heard, Dave. Here's somebody saying, in effect, that it doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter what religion you belong to, or if you prefer no religion. But somehow this new age philosophy, the new spirituality, is going to help you. Very, very deceptive. Because obviously the Bible is very clear that we have to believe specific doctrines about Christ, about sin, about God, and all of these are redefined. They are either negated or they are redefined in the new spirituality. And here's Oprah Winfrey with millions of people watching and listening and really being deceived about the nature of reality, the nature of God, the nature of redemption. It's tragic.
Pastor, what led you to probe into this modern-day phenomenon in the first place?
Well, first of all, because so many people are, of course, listening to Oprah Winfrey. And I need to say here at the beginning, Dave, that she's done an awful lot of good. I mean, we're talking about a school in Africa. We're speaking about huge gifts to charitable organizations. Because she experienced abuse in her own life as she was growing up, she's very sensitive to people who've been through a lot. The problem is this new spirituality. And when I began to read and to discover that Eckhart Tolle, for example, who was heavily promoted by Oprah, when I began to read what he was teaching, and then to hear people even in the church say things like this, well, we have a daughter who is reading what Marianne Williamson is teaching. At that time, I began to realize that there's something really huge here. And we're talking here, David, about millions and millions of copies of these books flying off the shelves. People are reading, they are intrigued, and many of them are believing.
Pastor, who are some of the guests Oprah has on who espouse the new spirituality?
Well, I've already mentioned some of them. Eckhart Tolle, of course, The Power of Now was his first book, and then The New Earth, which is the one that I concentrate on more in my book on Oprah Winfrey and the guests that she has, Oprah, Miracles in the New Earth. Marianne Williamson, now this is very interesting. She wrote a book entitled A Return to Love. And this book is based on an earlier work, a long book, perhaps nearly 1,000 pages, entitled A Course in Miracles. And so Marianne Williamson has popularized this course. I have read a good deal of the Course in Miracles because of the need for me to study it in light of the fact that I was going to write and preach on this. And I need to say that it is very convoluted and incredibly anti-Christian. And what happened is this woman who wrote that book by the name of Helen Schucman, who is now deceased, she wrote it with automatic writing. It says at the beginning that, a spirit guide came to her, and she was but the scribe to write what she was told to write by this inner voice. And Dave, in case we don't get a chance to mention this later, I should say that she wrote the words, "Don't make the pathetic error of clinging to the old rugged cross." Now here's the point. Yes, Helen Schucman is deceased, but it is Marianne Williamson who popularizes her ideas, and she's been on Oprah and so forth. Another guest is Rhonda Byrne, who wrote the book The Secret, and it is an incredible book. The fact that people would believe it boggles my mind. It is so narcissistic. As a matter of fact, it says things like, "The stars shine for you. Everything, the ocean ebb and flows for you. You are the center of everything." And Rhonda Byrne says that you are God in the flesh. Now, these are the kind of guests that Oprah has had on, promoting their ideas, selling their books, and the impact is absolutely enormous.
Oprah makes no bones now about what she believes, having been a Baptist at one time. Let's take a listen to what she now espouses.
Yes, I'm Christian too, and I got that a long time ago. I mentioned this also in this book called Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth, where he talks about the Christ consciousness. And up until then, I was like you, Margit. I thought Jesus came, died on the cross, that Jesus' being here was about his death and dying on